Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany, a retired librarian turned homeschool mom. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the second book in Tamora Pierce's The Circle of Magic Quartet. So if you haven't seen my first video, which is Sandry's book, I advise you to check that out because similar to the book series, if you don't see that one, this isn't going to make that much sense. Or at least if you have not read the book, it's not going to make much sense. These series, it's not standalone. They have to go in order. Otherwise, things don't make sense. So, and the first book very much introduces you to the characters in these book series. So, this is my copy. This is Tris's book. I think I've recently, in order uploading Sandry's video, most of these are now found only in ebook form for some reason. They're apparently not as popular as Tamora Pierce's Song of the Lioness Quartet, or basically her Tortal series. So if you can find them in physical form, you can find them used. Various libraries have them. Otherwise, buy them ebook form. These are the type of books that it's okay to do that, in my opinion, because they're chapter books. These are kind of teen leaning. But I love having the physical copies. I've had the physical copies for years. I bought these back when I was maybe in my mid-20s. So on to this book. So this is the second book in the series. In the first book, it ends with the four friends, one, Sandry, being a thread mage, or a stitch witch, as she refers to herself at times, having basically spun her and her three friends' magic together. They're not, it's not fully understood at this point what she did, because she did it to save their lives when they were trapped underground when a massive earthquake hit. So in this book, they're Winding Circle Temple, where the four children and their teachers live, in the city of Emmeline, and its main city, where Sandry's uncle resides, is cleaning up after this massive earthquake caused when another mage at a different temple decided to try to control earthquake energy with mirrors, and made a very, very big mess, and basically amplified it, so it made a big mess. So they're cleaning up after this. People are healing. People are putting things back together. They're trying to assess the damage. It's also summer, and it's very, very hot. So one night, the kids wake up. They're hot. They decide to go with their little dog and walk on the wall. And Tris hears something. Now, she hears stuff on the wind. She's a weather mage. And she tries, basically, she's hearing, and now all four of them are now hearing things, because again, Sandry spun their magic together. So now they're, not only can they talk to each other, but their magic is starting to spread. So they're starting to hear things on the wind as well. And they try to alert the guards, and one of them just ignores them. They're children, they're irritating. The other one remembers who Tris is, because she's different. Bright red curly hair, glasses, kind of chubby. And again, so she's kind of different. And he realizes that she's the student of Nikolai, or Nicolaran Goldeneye, who's a big mage. He's a traveling mage. He's very confusing to a lot of people. And he's like, maybe we should pay attention. This is his student, and she's a weather mage, and they are well known for, you know, surviving being underground during a massive earthquake. So they kind of listen to what they have to say, and then a tower out in the harbor explodes. So they're like, okay, something's obviously up. Go back to Discipline Cottage, which is where they live, and get out of the way, because you're children. We're going to have adults deal with this, which kind of works. The next morning, Nico comes and takes Tris out onto the harbor and does very advanced magic. One teaches her how to see magic, which is important, because again, everything starts spreading between them. And then basically kind of gets realized that pirates might have some sort of exploding thing going on, because they use some sort of gunpowder-like stuff. So the other thing that's going on right around the same time is Frostpine has come in the morning to get Deja. Now they're the metal mages. And he takes her along with his own regular assistant, regular apprentice, and they're combing the beach around the coast the outside of the walls of the temple, because the temple is prone to being attacked by pirates. So they have a magic net made out of metal, buried pretty much under the sand there surrounding the temple, which if pirates step on it, it makes them see illusions and freeze them in place, essentially. Eventually they're stunned, and so they're able to be taken care of. Well, earthquake damaged this, so they're going around trying to find the pieces and assess the damage so they can fix it before, pirates attack. Now, Deja starts seeing something flickering out of the corner of her eye, and it looks like a small type of ship. Now, she's a trader, a blue trader, so her family, she grew up on the water. She knows what ships are. And it's like, what the heck is going on? So, I believe Frostpine asked her, what the heck are you doing? She's like, I'm seeing this out of the corner of my eye. And he's like, that can't be some weird illusion. Let's have a look. And I think he's able to stretch, with her help, stretch their magic out and realize there's a giant pirate fleet off the coast. So it's like, okay, get in. Everybody back in. And then they alert the head of the temple, and they call in all the farmers. And so they're bringing a bunch of people, trying to store people in. So the kids go back to Winding Circle Temple. I think Deja is with Frostpine. She's basically, she comes back, and he had told her, it's like, we're going to need to work on some of the stuff to help with defenses. So she's gets some of her stuff, and she's going to go stay at the forge with him. Shortly around this time, a young man comes to Discipline Cottage. Because normally, if they didn't have children at the cottage, they would, Rosethorn and Lark, the women who run the cottage, would take in people. But because they have these 4 young mages who, can't really control their magic, that's the reason it's called Discipline Cottage. They're there to learn discipline in their magic. And their charges don't normally know how to control things, which is the reason they're there again. But this young man comes, and he basically is looking for a place to sleep. He's an academic mage who was staying and gave up his space to people who were coming in. And he turns out to be Tress's cousin, who she hasn't seen in many years. He was the mage of their family. He was basically sent off to Lightsbridge, which is the University for Academic Mages, and was going to come back and earn their merchant family tons of money. And I don't know if he ever actually came back. I don't believe he may have come back to visit. But he shows up, he realizes Tress is there, and he didn't realize she was there. He kind of recognizes her, tries to convince her to go home. Now, they basically, because he's her cousin, and she hasn't seen him, she has no reason to be suspicious of him. He comes in, Sandry offers her room, and she goes and takes Deja's, because Deja's not going to be there for a while. So he's going to sleep in Sandry's room on the ground floor, and Sandry goes upstairs. But Briar doesn't trust him. Now, Briar's close to Tress. She's teaching him to read at the moment. So there's something about this kid, this young man, that he doesn't trust. Now, he was a street rat and a thief. He knows students. Students don't have money. At least not university students, typically, and they normally spend their money on books. And this guy's dressed a little bit too flashy, and he's wearing too much jewelry that Briar can tell costs a lot of money. So he's suspicious. Something weird is going on here. So he obviously can't really tell Tress, because he tries. But this is her cousin. This is one of the few people in her family that was nice to her, as opposed to everyone else who was crappy to her, because she was cranky and scary, and a weather mage. They thought she was cursed, because they didn't realize this. But so she's kind of against this. What happens is, one evening, Briar goes to get dinner from the cooks, because that's typically what they do. He brings it back, but it's a deep stew. Now he thinks he sees somebody using invisibility, because again, Nico is trained Tress to see magic, and now everybody's doing it, so it's spreading. he comes back, but the family's not interested in the soup because it's just too hot. So they just eat cheese and bread and fruit from where they keep it below their house where it keeps it cool. And except for the dog. The dog falls asleep. So that night, Briar hears something because he also sleeps on the ground floor. He peeks in. He hears, he sees the cousin sneaking out. It's like, where are you going in the middle of the night? I think he wakes up Tris, and he alerts Sandra because they now can talk mind to mind. And so they decide to try and find him. So they follow him, and they realize everybody's asleep. Something strange is going on. So the guards are asleep, and they catch up to the cousin, and he essentially tells them, it's like, what are you doing here? And they're like, what the heck are you doing? They suspect that, and they just kind of searched his room and realized he might be connected to the pirates. And basically he tells them, because he doesn't care, he's gonna let the pirates in. He got into get some gambling debt, and the pirate queen agreed to make it go away if he helped her ransack Winding Circle Temple. And he got in there and drugged everybody and then opened the gates. And he agreed to do that. And he made a blinding blood act. So this earring he's wearing binds him to either, I think, her or her mage brother. So if he disobeys her, he dies. She can kill him. So he's going to go and open the gates. And Tris is like, why are you doing this? And he's like, I tried to make you go home. And she's like, but you were going to essentially get the people I love killed or enslaved. He's like, he doesn't care. He's been taken over by greed. And so he goes and opens the gates, and he's in the pirates outside her. I think they stab him. Tris gets upset. Tris is a weather witch. She makes it hail. So hail comes falling everywhere, wakes everybody because they're not unconscious, they've just been drugged to sleep. So being hit with a bunch of balls of ice is going to wake you up. And the teachers have woken up because they weren't drugged because they didn't eat the soup. So they come trying to find, I think Briar is able to use plants to alert Rosethorn. At least he might. He does that later. But their teachers show up. Tris is upset. She's holding her cousin's body. She's holding the earring in his hand, which does become important later. And she's covered in lightning. And Sandra realizes the lightning's probably not going to hurt them anymore because she spun their magic together, which she's correct. So she touches her friend, and Briar comes in, they call for Deja, and they kind of calm Tris down. It's like, you're sparking like crazy. You need to calm down. You need to make the hail stop so we can deal with this. So she does. She leans on her friends, particularly Sandra, who's very good at comforting people. And at this point, after, you bond being buried underground together, and you can now kind of hear each other's thoughts on occasion. So, but then the pirates attack, and they have a boom weapon, which is the best way to describe it, is the author probably took inspiration from Greek fire and gunpowder. I mean, so basically it's attacking the walls. Their magic net is disabled. They've locked the gates, and they're trying to defend themselves. They're trying to figure out this boom weapon. The kids are trying to get involved, even though, they're being told not to because they're 10, 11 years old. And Tris starts being able to use her lightning. Sorry, periodically listening for a sleeping toddler. She has a tendency to wake up. So they eventually help out, and they send their magic into the ocean to destroy things. But Tris gets caught because she's holding onto that earring, and the pirate queen is trying to use her until her friends, they escape because their teachers come for them. And they basically, Briar, I think, uses his hands to get lightning out of Tris's hair. And Sandra weaves it into a bolt, and they destroy the earring. And get Tris back. And they rescue, and basically the pirate fleet is destroyed. And at the end of the story, Tris goes and works in order to do something, because she's bored Nikolai, her teacher, is busy. And she sees all the burn wounds and the disaster, and she realizes, my magic's mainly being able to be used and controlled, not by me, and I'm a weapon. So when Nico comes to her at the end of the book, she's like, I need to learn control. I need to learn control more than anybody else. So that's kind of her awakening. She realizes that she really needs to focus and learn meditation more than anybody else, because she can be dangerous, and she needs to stop growing lightning in her hair and scaring people. So that is the bulk of the story. There's a whole lot more details to it. It's a very enjoyable book, but the whole point is Tris realizes that she needs to learn more control over her magic more than anybody else, because it's affected by her emotions. She grows lightning in her hair. When she gets mad, things hail or winds. There get strong winds, and she realizes she really does need to control things more than anything else. Because when things get out of hand for her, things go very wrong, very dangerously, very fast. So that's the main point of this story. It's very enjoyable, just like the first book. It's very much, you learn more about the characters. You learn a little bit more Sandri's past. You get more of her slowly interesting relationship with her uncle, which blossoms further on into the books, and then you see it strongly in the Circle Opens Quartet, which I will cover in November. So that is it for this book. If you like this review, I will finish off we'll do Deja's book next week, and then finish off with Briar's book, as well as, if you are paying attention to my channel, I'm covering Harry Potter right now as well. So, as well as a few other fun, easy films, so my viewers can get a break from Harry Potter, which, yes, will run into October. The reason I'm not covering the Circle Opens Quartet in October is because October is packed with Halloween stuff and Dracula and Frankenstein and stuff like that. So you're literally getting like 5 videos a week next month. So I'm going to cover it in November when I'm doing Native American stuff as well, just as something fun. So if you want to know what else I'm covering this month besides Harry Potter, the films I'm covering, check out my September introduction. If you like this review and want to see more of my reviews, I have a bunch of children's book reviews, some children's film reviews already out. I have some homeschooling stuff, a little bit of child travel stuff going out there. I have a whole bunch of Halloween stuff coming in October. Halloween's my favorite holiday, so I have, again, it's packed besides the Harry Potter stuff. And a bunch of other stuff, Native American stuff, Christmas stuff, and a whole bunch more other stuff planned. Mostly book reviews, film reviews, other kind of educational stuff geared almost toward families, and particularly secular homeschoolers, which is what my family is. We have chosen to homeschool our child for non-religious reasons, because we're not religious. But that is it. If you like my channel and like what I have to say, like and subscribe. Thank you.